Welcome to today's episode. Today we're gonna cover the latest of the Garmin Varia radar/camera, the best safety gadget I purchased in recent history, if not ever, for my bicycle. You may have noticed that more and more car drivers use dash cameras to record while they're driving, so if there is ever anything happening, they would have proof or evidence as to what occurred. Now, Garmin already for a few years had a radar technology developed with a light that would show you in the head unit, if you had a GPS from Garmin, if cars approach you, and it could detect up to multiple cars, and it shows them like little dots coming closer as the cars approach you. They then released later on, a while ago, this newer version that has also built-in camera that records as it recognizes these objects. Now this is totally awesome. I really love it. I've used it now a few times. My biggest worry was around what's the battery time, because anybody that ever filmed with action camera, they're usually never good for as long as they advertise. I've ridden over 4 hours with this one and no problems so far. I'm not sure if it would do an all-day trip, but for everything I ride around here after work on the weekend so far, it has worked well. It will also be interesting in the long term of how good the battery is, because I don't see a way of replacing it. It does have a SD card behind this screwed, like you know how many waterproof things is, you need a little screwdriver or a coin to open it, and then there's an SD card slot that you can put in. Now this radar goes for $399. The accessories, the attachment to the bike, which one is supplied with the radar, but if you have multiple bikes like myself, you're gonna end up buying additional, and they're 10%. They're pretty much $40 plus sales tax depending on where you live, which, you know, it's the normal story they get you with the accessories. Besides that this is made for safety, it does supply super cool recordings of your riding buddies. As you can see in these videos, my friend Ellen riding with me, as well as my friend Tony. I got some great shot and got to do some funny videos. In fact, I'm gonna link a YouTube short I just did out of giggles from my friend Tony with some pumping up music. It does record when coupled with the GPS head unit, the coordinates as well as the speed, as you can see here in this footage. And if you don't have the Garmin head unit and you commute with the bike, don't worry, there is a Garmin Varia app for your smartphone, and it will do the same thing as it would do in the head unit. You will also use this companion app to update your Garmin Varia software, the firmware updates, to download video files. It will use the Bluetooth connectivity to ask you to join the Wi-Fi network from the light. When you join it, you can then basically review all the different video files, download it to your phone and share it or use it from there. Personally, I found it cumbersome, similar to how I find it cumbersome with other devices that through Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is just not as fast on these built-in devices, that I usually just end up connecting it to my laptop or computer and download the files there or preview them there. The light is super bright. I turned it on and accidentally shined it in my eyes the first time around, and it was so bright that I actually felt it. And it also changes how aggressively it blinks depending on how close the cars get to you. So it's definitely a smart light. If you have $400 to spare for the safety on your bike, I highly recommend that. When I moved to the Pacific Northwest, other people that commute to work told me they all got hit once. My friend Tony, that was featured in one of the video footage, got hit 2 years ago on his birthday. I think it's 2 years ago. These whole COVID years made time move different than otherwise. I think it's 2 years ago when he got injured. In that case, I think it wouldn't have helped since he got hit from the side. That's why I would be looking forward if Garmin also makes a front light, even though I like really bright front lights because of the Pacific Northwest and the early darkness. You need bright lights if you ride the year around, but still it would be an improvement to have that camera also pointing to the front. And it really is helpful that you can configure either continuous recording and then override as you run out of space, or just when it recognizes objects, which is what I did. I basically say you recognize a car or an object coming close, record for 30 seconds, or if the object is still there, it will record the next file and the next file, but otherwise stops. I don't need boring footage from all my rides of all the time. And so yeah, I hope you found this helpful. If you're looking to getting started with biking this year, I did make a video last year where I shared all my experiences of buying over 10 bikes, I think it is, in about a decade. And I learned a lot with what I had to look out for and what I would consider if I have to start all over again. So I linked this video up here so you can take a look and make sure that you don't have to pay the same price as I did with making some simple mistakes that if I would have known would have saved me money and time. If you haven't done yet, please consider subscribing. It really would help me out. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. If you know of a safety gadget that you use for bike commuting or on your bike, please also leave it in the comments. And with that, T-Div Kurt out.